Hello and welcome to the channel. Today we're going to be checking out a pedal that you are no doubt familiar with. A pedal that has a bit of a reputation for not sounding the greatest. But today we're going to put that to rest and find out whether it really does suck as much as people say it does. I am of course talking about the infamous Boss MT-2 Metal Zone. So, let's get into it. I'm sure you're all fairly familiar with the controls on the Metal Zone, but just to run you through them quickly, from left to right, you have the level. On the left of the two central dual concentric pots we have bass and treble. On the right of these middle pots we then have mid-frequency and middle control. You've then got distortion. Fairly straightforward and what you'd expect from a distortion pedal. So today I'm playing my PRS S2 single cut. I'm playing of course through the Metal Zone and into my Marshall SV20H. I'm then using a vintage 30 impulse response. So just to be clear, the pedal is now running into the front of the amp, which differs from what you've heard at the start of this video where I was running the pedal in the effects loop, which is a little trick I like to use with some of these higher gain and slightly more trebly sounding distortion pedals. To learn more about that you can watch this video up here. So my clean tone sounds like this. So just got a little bit of grit to it, especially on the bridge pickup. And then with the Metal Zone in, with everything at 12 o'clock, it sounds like this. So straight away, I'm sure some of you have gone, that sounds great, and some of you have gone, that sounds horrible. For me personally, I'm not the biggest fan of the sound. However, it probably would go okay if you were going for more of a solid statey sort of sound. I'm thinking Death, Pantera, that kind of tone. So let's see if we can get a slightly nicer tone out of it. I'll start with the bass and treble. I'm going to cut the treble down to about 9 o'clock and then boost the bass up to about 2 o'clock. And that sounds something like this. Which already to me sounds loads better and gets you into what I think is more of a thrashy sort of territory. Now if we move across to the mid controls, I find that this pedal best suits a sort of more of a scooped sort of tone. I've got the treble just boosted ever so slightly and the bass cut ever so slightly. I've then got the mid all the way as high as it goes on the frequency control, and I'm cutting a lot of that mid with the knob at about 9 o'clock. I've also rolled the distortion back to just above 9 o'clock as well. And that gives you something that sounds like this. So doing that gets you into what I consider to be more of a metalcore-y sort of early 2000s scoop mid kind of tone. So if you have ever played with this pedal before, you will no doubt know that the EQ on this pedal is very sensitive, and I think that's part of the contributing factor to why people think it sounds terrible. With such a range of options, it's very easy to get it set up wrong. Just to give you an idea of this, I'll play a few chugs on the bottom string and sweep through the treble control, just to give you an idea of just how wide the range is. So as you can hear, it varies quite a lot, and that's just on the treble control, and it's the same story across the mids and bass as well. Now I'm sure this is a pedal that most of you are familiar with, so I'm not going to go into too much more detail, but to answer the question, does this pedal sound as bad as people make out? No, I don't think it does. I think you can certainly get some usable tones out of it, and it has been used by a few people over the years. The main one that comes to mind being Simon Neil of Biffy Clyro. If you want to hear me attempt to put that rig together on a budget, then you can click up here to watch that video, by the way. But I think the reputation for this pedal comes from the fact that it being a Boss pedal, it's fairly affordable. And for anyone that likes metal, it's probably a first pedal, and it's definitely one that a lot of beginners get. Is this the best sounding distortion pedal? No, it definitely isn't. But is it as bad as people make it out to be? I think that's also a no. But that's just my opinion and my thoughts on it. I have no doubt that you will all have your opinions of this pedal, so leave me them down in the comments below. I'm sure this is going to be a great comment section with a lot of debate going on. But that's it for today's video, so all that's left to say is thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.